Obviously, we're very delighted and excited to be able to announce the signing of Bubba Starling.
Another piece of the Royals puzzle is in place, joining an organization full of first-round picks in Kansas City. Now, back to playing the Yankees. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Two other Royals former first-round picks played big roles last night in a Royals comeback against the Yankees, but in the end it wasn't enough, and New York took Game 1 from the Royals 7-4. Hi everyone, welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. That was the bad news. The good news after the game was that the Royals signed first-round pick Bubba Starling, with the money being as big a story as the player was, but to become a championship team, you have to sign great players.
And the Royals have really made a great effort to do that since Dayton Moore took over. He wasn't afraid to draft Scott Boras' clients. He wasn't afraid to draft the best player in the country if he was available, and they've been able to get those guys signed.
And it wasn't just Bubba Starling, but there were several draft picks that signed yesterday, and the Royals, as they have been lately, been spending as much money as any major league team during the draft.
Well, Ryan, I tell you, the first wave are already here in Kansas City. The second wave is right behind them, and all the guys that are signed today, that's the third wave that are coming behind these guys. So the Royals have done a great job in solidifying their minor league system after being voted the best in baseball.
And now the question becomes, how long does it take those guys to become players like Alex Gordon? Well, he was drafted in 06, and now he's having his best major league season 5 years later.
Well, what they've done differently now is when Alex came, they didn't make him go step by step. The Royals have really been careful to move their players step by step, let them finish a full season, let them play together, let them win together, and then they all sort of come here together as the guys we see on the field today.
A long time ago, Derek Jeter, a future Hall of Famer, was a first-round pick for the Yankees out of the state of Michigan. He had a big game last night for the Yankees, but he wasn't the only New York infielder with a big game, and we'll talk about that when we come back. You play, students win. Danny Duffy will be facing the Yankees for the first time tonight, and will be facing this lineup.
Well, the Yankees going to move their captain, Derek Jeter, to the #1 spot, 3 RBIs in last night's game. And you got some new guys in there tonight. Andrew Jones will be in there, and also Eduardo Nunez.
Robinson Cano had 2 hits for the Yankees, but his impact, Frank, was with the glove last night.
Oh, what a smooth player, Ryan. And when you look at Robinson Cano, you just look at a guy that's so confident on defense, and when the game goes fast, he's got the ability to slow things down. Under control, nice throws, kind of know how to approach everything. Even on balls in the dirt, he's able to scoop, tag, and still get the play made.
And here's how the Yankees are lined up defensively, presented by Ram Trucks.
Curtis Grander's having a great year, 117 games, only 3 errors, and Robinson Cano at second base leads all second basemen in total chances. Ivan Nova will be doing the pitching, and Russell Martin will be catching today.
For the second straight night, the Yankees will be facing a pitcher they've never seen before. Danny Duffy, a big test for him. The 22-year-old goes up against the first-place New York Yankees. Royals and the Yankees, the first pitch is next. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no-fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Let's go out to right field and welcome in Joel Goldberg.
Thank you, Ryan. Obviously, all the news yesterday or last night was about the signing of Bubba Starling. The Royals have 9 former first-round draft picks on their 25-man roster, 7 of their own plus Jeff Francoeur and Jeff Francis. A lot of guys that know what Bubba has to go through coming up here, including Eric Hosmer. Haas telling me there'll be lots of ups and downs for Bubba, but what he thinks will really help him is that Bubba Starling was in the spotlight at Gardner-Edgerton from the time he was a freshman. He's been there. He's had all the attention. He said that'll help him tremendously. Now just keep on going out and doing the same thing. Guys?
All right, thank you, Joel. Let's get the key report on Danny Duffy. 3 wins, 6 losses, making his 16th start. Going up against the Yankees for the first time, and the Yankees lead the league in home runs hit. And for Danny Duffy, even though he's allowed 11 home runs in less than 80 innings, only 1 in his last 32 2/3 innings. And of his 15 starts, in 12 of those, he's given up 3 earned runs or less. And coming off a very good start, despite a loss Thursday at Tampa Bay. And his first pitch to Derek Jeter is over the outside for strike 1. Three hits for Jeter last night, 3 RBIs, including a 3-run triple that came in the 6th inning. Put the Yankees back out in front after the Royals had just taken the lead in the bottom of the 5th. Jeff Francoeur runs down the line drive from Jeter. 1 away. Now Ram Trucks will show us the Royals defensively.
I'd rather have the same reliable outfield out there tonight, and on the infield, you got Mike Moustakas, who hadn't been swinging the bat that well, but been able to do well on defense. And you got Danny Duffy, 16th Major League start, being called by Salvador Perez.
And now Duffy gets Curtis Granderson, who bats second. Joe Girardi mixing things up with a lefty on the mound. Brett Gardner, who led off last night, will bat 9th. So Jeter and Granderson and Teixeira, Cano, Swisher all move up. No balls, 2 strikes. Granderson 0 for 3. He did walk twice last night, and he struck out twice. 128 strikeouts, 3rd most in the league. And he went around, and Duffy on 3 pitches strikes him out. Perez completes his strikeout, 2 down. Beautiful night in Kansas City, 82 degrees with a little breeze blowing in from the south. Game started right on time at 7:10. And the time and temp is brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCA. And across the knees, 6 pitches, all strikes for Danny Duffy. 0-1 to Mark Teixeira. A little bit outside, according to home plate umpire Kerwin Danley. One and two. And Frank, you used the term, and it's so appropriate tonight for Duffy against the Yankees. He has to throw actual strikes.
Well, they're going to make him do that. Otherwise, he'll be having a lot of deep counts. And the previous pitch on the outside corner, that he's going to need that pitch, and that's going to help him a lot.
Perez wants a fastball up to Teixeira, and it's fouled back to the netting. Now, he was able to get away with striking out Granderson without an actual strike, a breaking ball in the dirt. Yankees are 5th in the league in team batting average, but 2nd in on base percentage. So all that means is that they walk a lot. Still 1 and 2.
I think when you can go away from actual strikes with 2 strikes on the hitter, then you're going for the strikeout, so you can afford to bounce a pitch if you're in the right count when you can make that pitch as you did to Granderson. But you just want to get early strikes and put yourself in that position where you can make pitches like that.
Hold to Moustakas, who gets a big hop, and a good start for Danny Duffy. Alex lineup against right-hander Ivan Nova.
Well, Alex going to lead things off for the Royals, and Melky Cabrera will bring his 51 multi-hit games, and his 8-game hitting streak will be second. And this Royals lineup will be anchored by Alcides Escobar, who's hit .294 over his last 61 games.
Royals are facing 24-year-old Ivan Nova out of the Dominican Republic, and a great rookie year. He is 11-4, spent a little bit of time in the minor leagues, and before that he faced the Royals back on May the 12th, and it wasn't a very good start. He gave up 8 runs. 4 of those were unearned, but 8 runs, 10 hits in 3 innings. But that's when his season turned around, and he's been 8-1 in 12 starts since then. Alex Gordon 1 out of 3 with a walk. A stolen base is 12. 2 runs scored last night. Checks in at .298. Oh, 0-1 from Nova. Talking about first round picks. The Royals with 4 in the lineup tonight and a second-round pick. Alex in 05, although he didn't start playing until 06. Billy Butler the year before him. Eric Hosmer in 08. Mike Moustakas in 07. And Johnny Giavotella was a second-round pick in 2008. So pretty good draft in 08. Eric Hosmer and then Johnny Giavotella. Three balls and 1 strike. A called strike. 94 miles an hour, tailing in on Gordon's hands. Joe Girardi's team is tied for first place after beating the Royals last night. The Red Sox did not play. Red Sox play a doubleheader tonight with Tampa Bay. Hard slider strikes out Alex, 1 away.
I read some quotes by Joe Girardi as it pertains to Ivan Nova. He said that one thing that he used to do, he used to let big innings get away from him, and he said every outing after that was an outing that he may get sent down, and he said and he finally made the commitment that I'm not going to get sent down to AAA anymore, and from then on he just got more confident and just started pitching well.
And that is called a ball to Melky Cabrera. 2 RBIs for Melky last night against his former team. 1 on a bases loaded walk. Melky has an 8-game hitting streak, and his good buddy from the Dominican Republic, Robinson Cano, throws him out 2 away. Robinson Cano was a rookie the year before Melky Cabrera was a rookie. And so, having lived through New York as a young player, Robinson Cano was one of the Yankees who showed Melky Cabrera the way when he was a rookie in New York. Fastball at 94. 0-1 to Billy Butler, who had a 2-run single for the Royals in their 3-run 5th inning last night, and that put the Royals in front 3-2. And the Yankees came right back in the 6th and scored 3 and ended up winning the game 7-4. 1-1. And a solid base hit into center field.
Billy gets a high fastball here out over the plate, drive it back through the middle. That's a good swing, right back through the middle. He said when he's on, he's the swing about as pretty a swing you want to see right there. And I, as a hitter, nothing looked better to hit a line drive back through the middle.
1 on, 2 out to Eric Hosmer. Chasing a pitch down and in. Hosmer hit his first 2 major league home runs when the Royals were in New York in May. The first home run against A.J. Burnett. The second home run against Ivan Nova. No balls, 2 strikes.
This is a great opening for Eric Hosmer in New York. I mean, what better stage would you want to get your first home run, right?
And with what he did against Ivan Nova in New York, Eric Hosmer getting an RBI tonight is one of the selections on the Fox Hot Watch.
Ivan Nova is a little bit different. He was more a fastball, curveball change when the Royals saw him earlier. Now he's added the slider to his repertoire, and that's taking a lot of the place of the curveball.
High and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hosmer was 1 for 4 last night. Every Royals starter had at least 1 hit. Royals finished with 12 hits. Yankees winning with 7 runs, 13 hits. Stayed out over the plate. That's to the gap and all the way to the screen. Billy Butler will be waved home. And the ball gets away from Cano, and Eric Hosmer with a double puts the Royals in front.
Nova left a slider up out over the plate. He wanted it down and in, and you see the pitch stayed up. Hosmer puts a good swing on it, drives it into right center field. And that's how you hit the ball when it stays up and out over the plate. You stay back, you recognize it, and let your hands do the work. And as Billy's off and running with 2 outs, he's got to try to score on this double in the alley, and he did a good job getting there.
You know, if you're not very good at something, you might as well look good trying, right? And Billy Butler's not very fast, but he's got good running for him. I mean, he's not falling all over himself when he's running.
That's a long run. He didn't stumble. That's great. I mean, he does a good job.
What's wrong with that running form there? He is
nothing at all.
Pumping those elbows. You just have to add a little bit of speed to that replay. That's all.
Great running form. I agree with you. Yeah.
Jeff Francoeur had 2 hits last night. He has hit in 4 in a row. 2 and 1 against Ivan Nova.
Yeah, that's how you run when you know you have to score.
That's right. Just put your head down and go. There's the hard slider down and away. So even though the Royals have a run in this inning with a couple of hits, Nova has given a few Royals trouble with that pitch. He struck out Alex with the pitch. He got Hosmer to chase a couple, and now evens the count 2-2 with Francoeur. Up the middle, and that's into center field. Francoeur drives in Hosmer, and the Royals have a 2-0 first inning lead.
Again, we see where the kid is up in the zone. Francoeur is able to take it back through the middle for a base hit. So that's a good indication that hitters always hit pitchers' mistakes. And when they leave them up out over the plate and you're a good hitter, then you know what to do with it. You get a base hit to center field, get yourself an RBI. You see Hosmer, a good secondary, gets a good jump off second base for 2 outs, and he's going to score on this base hit.
Francoeur's 65th RBI. It was Hosmer's 50th, and now Johnny Giavotella. Giavotella with a 3-hit game, also caught stealing twice, including in the 8th inning, something that was discussed quite a bit at the ballpark today with the baseball version of Monday morning quarterbacking. But with the Royals down by 3 in the 8th inning and with 2 outs, Giavotella caught stealing when the Royals needed base runners period, not runners advancing.
You know, that's always a tough call too, Ryan. You got your team that's part of your aggressive approach is to steal bases, run the bases, and you see Doug Sisson earlier this afternoon working with Johnny after he got thrown out twice last night on getting a good jump, reading the pitcher, and hopefully help him in tonight's game. But that's one of the things when you're a running team like the Royals are, then you got to kind of know when to pull back and kind of let your offense get you back in the game.
Let's go to Joel.
Yeah, Ryan, I talked to Doug Sisson about it today. He said that Johnny's a very good and smart base runner and base stealer, just maybe got a little over aggressive last night. He wants those base runners to wait long enough to get that key. He doesn't believe in going first move the majority of the time. He wants him to wait just a half a second longer for that key, as Jeff Francoeur is going to run right now. It doesn't work out either, guys.
4th time in the series already the Royals have been caught stealing. They come up with 2 in the 1st inning. Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Mr. and Mrs. Hoffman, if they were here tonight, they probably would be celebrating the beautiful weather like they are with their statue out in right field. Robinson Cano will lead off the top of the 2nd inning.
Ryan, I was talking to John Flaherty about Robinson Cano and kind of what you talked about him taking Melky Cabrera to his swing. When Robinson Cano came up, John was telling me that, and he's the voice of the Yes Network that carries the Yankees, and he was telling me that Derek Jeter was one of the guys who took Robinson Cano when he was a young player, along with A-Rod, because he was really considered a hot dog when he first came up. They even had to send him back to AAA, and when he came back up, Derek Jeter and A-Rod were the two guys that really got him settled down into being a professional ball player at this level.
Can you think of a better guy to bring you along in the big leagues than Derek Jeter?
I can't. That's why I was a little surprised he got booed last night when he came up, because you're not going to find a better class guy and a guy who knows how to win and play. I mean, you won't find a better guy to play under pressure like this guy.
Duffy's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In Danny's first inning, he threw 11 pitches, 10 strikes, and got the Yankees in order, including a strikeout of Curtis Granderson. It'll be Robinson Cano, Nick Swisher, and Andrew Jones in the second inning. Line to Hosmer. Cano didn't even get out of the box. 1 away.
Well, a nice short swing. Teixeira hit the same type ball last night, and Hosmer just made it look so easy right there. I mean, if you don't have to move, then you can hit him as hard as you want. You just don't have to move sideways and have him hit that hard.
Now Nick Swisher, who had 2 hits and one of the most important hits for the Yankees last night. A line drive that changed directions on center fielder Melky Cabrera and was the beginning of a 2-run second inning.
I asked Melky if he ever had a ball hit at him like that. He said it's never happened to him before. He said he don't know whether the ball just sliced or whether it knuckled. He just didn't know. He just all of a sudden it just went back to his right.
And a base hit into left field for Swisher. Yankees have their first runner with 1 out in the second inning. Every Wednesday is Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase. You'll get a $7 game ticket, pregame happy hour specials, and enjoy one of KC's best bands. And tomorrow, music from the Good Foot before the Royals take on the Yankees at 7:10. Bruce Chen and Bartolo Colon. One on, 1 out to Andrew Jones. And Duffy's in there with a strike. Jones ended up coming into the game in the 7th inning, pinch hitting for Jorge Posada, who started the game as the DH. And Jones was 1 for 2 with a ground ball single that deflected off of second base. We've seen Duffy with the ability at times to lift that front leg and then make a decision in midair as to whether he's going to go to first place or home based on what the runner's doing. He has been called for a balk once this year. One ball and 1 strike on Jones.
The Baltimore Orioles had 2 lefties that would do that. Scott McGregor and Mike Flanagan both would just bring that leg up. They'd hesitate to see what you're going to do. And if you go first move, then they go to first. And if you don't, then they go ahead and pitch to the plate.
And that hit Jones on the foot. Here's what Danny Duffy has done in his last 4 starts at Kauffman Stadium against the Tigers twice, and then the 2 Chicago teams. Hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs, and he's gone 6 or more innings in 3 of those 4 starts, including going 7 innings twice.
Well, that just shows that he's getting better each time out, and this is his 16th start, and at the beginning there, Joe said it's somewhere between your first and 15th start that you actually start to see a pitcher start to get it, and he's just shown flashes of getting better each time out. And when he stretched those innings out, that was the #1 thing that everybody looked at, was getting past that 5th inning wall and getting into the 6th, into the 7th, and he's slowly getting better each time out.
Pitching with 2 on, 1 out. Russell Martin at the plate. 1 out of 5 with a run scored last night. Royals also struck him out twice. 1 ball, 1 strike. Comeback year for Russell Martin, who at one time was the National League starter behind the plate in the National League, but didn't do much for the Dodgers in 09 and last year. So signed on with the Yankees. He has as many home runs now as he did 09 and 2010 combined. And he made the All-Star team for the Yankees this season.
You know, out of Russell Martin, out of the 12 home runs that he has, 7 of them have come after a day off. So it just shows that occasionally you need to get recharged, to get a day off, and you come back a lot stronger.
Right down the middle for a ball. 2-2.
Well, Danny, that's whenever you see a pitcher just stare straight up in the air, you know he knows that's a pitch that he should have gotten right there. I mean, just below the knees, right down the middle of the plate.
Can't call that one a ball. Duffy's 2nd strikeout, both with the curveball tonight, 2 away.
Now, these are the last 2 pitches that Danny Duffy threw. The fastball we thought were down the middle right there on the mitt. Salvador Perez didn't have to move, and then he comes back, snapped the curveball off, froze Russell Martin at the plate.
And now it's Eduardo Nunez who's playing at third base. The Yankees are getting ready to welcome Alex Rodriguez back after knee surgery. Eric Chavez, the left-hand hitter, was in there last night against Felipe Paulino, and now Eduardo Nunez gets the start against Danny Duffy. Off of Duffy's foot, and with his glove tried to scoop it to Hosmer. Nunez is safe, no further advance, and the bases are loaded. Duffy came down hard with that attempt, and that's a play a pitcher's not used to. And Kyle Turner, Royals trainer, and Ned Yost are going to go out and make sure Danny's all right. Nevertheless, a great effort.
Well, an outstanding effort, and I mean, he tried to scoop it to Hosmer, didn't quite get it out of his glove good enough, but the effort is tremendous, especially after being hit. And then you can forget about the fact that you've been hit, the adrenaline's flowing, and you want to try to get this play made, and he made a great effort.
So a couple of things are checking on to make sure he's all right after the slide and to make sure he's all right after getting hit by the ground ball.
Well, I'm glad he's still out there. He saved himself a run by having that ball go off his leg, and he was just about out of the inning.
Kyle Turner just making sure, wanting Duffy to throw 1 pitch. So the bases are loaded, and Duffy will get left fielder Brett Gardner. Gardner led off against Felipe Paulino last night. He had 2 hits. He was hit by the first pitch of the game. So on base 3 times, scored a run, drove in 2. Ball 1 to Brett Gardner. This is what Duffy was trying to do.
Well, this is back on July 16th in Minneapolis, and this Jeff Francis is making an outstanding play
on Ben Revere.
For a guy that's 6'5", great speed. I mean, he just showed how athletic he was. It took a nice big divot out of the grass. So luckily he didn't hurt a knee on that play, but very athletic play.
1-1 to Gardner. Two balls and one strike. Even though the Royals took the lead briefly last night, the Yankees scoring 2 in the first inning for the first lead. The Royals have given up more runs than any team in the American League in the first 3 innings, which can be tough on the offense when night after night you're playing from behind.
Yeah, it is tough, and you can't play. It's almost like you scored 2, they go back and get 2. You can only do that so long before it catches up with you.
Popped up. Good pitch in on the hands. Moustakas is there, and the Yankees leave the bases loaded in the second inning. We talked about his bat and his glove last night. We're going to ask you in our Sprint You Call It question, who is the best second baseman in the American League? Is it Ian Kinsler with the Rangers? Dustin Pedroia with the Red Sox? Is it Cano? Or is it Ben Zobrist, who often plays second base with the Tampa Bay Rays? Johnny Giavotella, who would like to be in that class someday, lifts a fly ball to Nick Swisher. One pitch, one away for Nova. We have plenty of numbers for you. That's page 1. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals followed by a space. A for Kinsler, B for Pedroia, C for Cano, D for Zobrist. 1-2 Salvador Perez. Some more notes on those 4. What do you think, Frank?
Well, it's kind of hard to go against Dustin Pedroia, but I think he'd be a different type hitter in a big ballpark like Kansas City. I'm going to lean more toward Robinson Cano because I think he can hit the middle of the order. He can get the ball out of any ballpark in the American League. And I just like a general approach of being able to hit left-handers, hit .319 against lefties, and he can get the ball out of the ballpark. Big RBI guy.
Joel, how about you?
Well, I hate to do this to Ian Kinsler or Ben Zobrist, but they're probably eliminated from the discussion. It's going to come down to the 2 guys in the middle, just my guess. Both are 3-time All-Stars, Cano and Pedroia. Both have won 1 Gold Glove. Both have been doing it year after year after year, and they've won titles. But Dustin Pedroia is not a Yankee, so I'll go with Pedroia.
0-2 on Mike Moustakas. I'm going to go with Dustin Pedroia. I will add into it the speed with which he plays. Not actual speed, but the heart rate that he plays with. How about that? I mean, he looks like he's just going 100 miles an hour all the time. And Cano does everything as well, but he's got more of an ease to him. Where Pedroia, I think when he stands on the field, everybody else's energy level goes up. So I think the effect that he has on the rest of his teammates and what he adds to that team, that's why I go with Pedroia. One hop to Mark Teixeira, and it's an 8-pitch inning for Ivan Nova in the second. State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. And by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Two nothing Royals. RBIs from Eric Hosmer and Jeff Francoeur in the first inning against Ivan Nova. Danny Duffy has 2 scoreless innings. Now second time through for the Yankees. Derek Jeter lined out to right field in the first inning. Over the inside, strike one. That's Jeter's way of protesting. You hardly ever see him argue. Still kind of shaking his head at Kerwin Damley, who has not been in sync on several occasions tonight with Fox Tracks. Duffy had a 1-2-3 first inning, and then the Yankees loaded the bases with 2 outs in the second, but Duffy able to get Brett Gardner on a pop out to third. So a good start for him. His first start against New York, and a curveball on the ground to third. Moustakas backing up to get a big hop, and then showing off his strong arm to get Jeter. We want to take this moment to wish a happy birthday to Richard the Rocket Harlan. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. And when you're watching the game on TV and you see replays come up and you see the camera shots change and the graphics come in, it is Richard who's pressing all those buttons. He's got all those buttons figured out as Granderson is hit by a pitch. So only Richard Harlan, the Rocket, and Alec Baldwin, who once played a technical director in a movie, know what to do with all those buttons. Happy birthday, Rocket.
Happy birthday, Rock.
Trying to, did you see that little move there? He had the power to take the camera off of himself because he's the one that actually hits the button. The the way it works, producer Kevin Schenk kind of frames the show. Director Steve Kurtenbach is the one that calls out the shots. And then it's Richard Harlan is the one that presses all the buttons.
So it's his birthday, so it keeps the camera on himself a little bit longer.
He's 50, by the way, so that's the last cake he'll have for a birthday. One of the real good guys on our crew for a long time. So Granderson hit by a pitch. Duffy has plunked 2 tonight. And now Mark Teixeira, who grounded out to third in the first inning. And that's popped up. Perez will watch it land on the other side of the screen and land on the stairs. 2-1. I guess in describing television would be Kevin Schenk would be like the general manager, right? Steve Kurtenbach, our director, would be the manager,
right?
And Crockett would be the third base coach. He's the one that actually makes the moves, gives the signs, makes things happen. 3-1 to Teixeira. And we're the players.
We're the players.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy there.
Can't teach that kind of stuff, Frank.
I understand.
Yankees last night 1 out of 2 in stolen base attempts. Yankees and the Royals tied for the league lead with 120 stolen bases, and now Duffy walks his first, so he's given the Yankees 2 runners with 1 out in the third, and now getting into the middle of the order, or deeper into the middle of the order, getting past Teixeira. Now you have Cano and Swisher coming up. Remember, you can follow every Royals game through Game Connect at foxsportskansascity.com. And as you watch the game on TV, you can join the conversation about the game on Twitter. You can track trends and stats. Game Connect. Find it at foxsportskansascity.com.
When we talked about Robinson Cano, he's hit .319 against lefties, and I asked him, I said, what's your success against lefties? How do you do it? And he says, I've got a inside-out swing, which really helps me on the fastballs, and I can hit the ball the other way. But he really is credited. It keeps the swing short by having an inside-out swing, and he sees the ball a little bit longer.
And against Andy Duffy in the second inning, he made an out, but he hit an absolute blur to Eric Hosmer at first base. 20 home runs, 31 doubles, 6 triples, which totals 57 extra base hits. And only 2 other hitters in the league have more extra base hits than Robinson Cano. One of them is at second base, Curtis Granderson, who leads the league. And Cano, with a good swing, fouls it back. It's 0-2. Granderson with 33 home runs, 18 doubles, 9 triples, 60 extra base hits.
Well, you look at Cano's 20 home runs, 10 have come with 2 outs, and 7 of those have just broken tie ball games. So he's pretty clutch when he hits his home runs.
Still 0-2, and Robinson Cano, part of our discussion tonight in our Sprint You Call It question. Who is the best second baseman in the American League? Wow. 58%. Well, I guess if Frank White endorses Robinson Cano, that's going to help. But that is the highest percentage that you fans have voted for a Yankee by 58%. Line to left field. Granderson's going to be waved home on Alex Gordon, and the throw is going to be cut off. Frank, I think that surprised Gordon. I think it also surprised Granderson. Rob Thompson waving home Granderson to the plate.
There was a little hesitation with Curtis Granderson coming around third base, and if Alex makes a throw on the mark, it's a pretty tough play at the plate. Cano just stays in there. He doesn't give against lefties, and it's supposed to be down and away. Duffy leaves his curveball up. He just goes right with it. Nice short swing, and hits a line drive into left field. You get a good shot of. You can get a shot at Granderson coming around third. He hesitated quite a bit. And you see where the throw was starting to tail off a little bit. And Alex, I think Alex saw the hesitation too and figured he wasn't going to go.
That would be former KU Jayhawk Rob Thompson, Yankees third base coach. Played for Marty Patton at the University of Kansas. So first and second, and one away to Nick Swisher, who singled to left in the second inning, got a fastball up, and hit a rocket out to Alex Gordon. And a curveball is high and away. With one out, Granderson hit by a pitch. Teixeira walked, and then Cano, who was behind 0-2. Going the other way for an RBI single. Two balls and no strikes.
But it's never a good situation when you pitch against the Yankees. You pitch behind, get 2-0. Good hitters can sit on you and get their pitch, and they're not going to chase those borderline pitches. And if it's 2-0 count, he's looking for a certain pitch, a certain area, and if it's not there, they're going to let it go.
And outside, ball 4. So 2 walks and a hit batter in the inning, and now they're loaded up, and it's Ned Yost making the first trip to the mound. Most of the time when the manager makes the first trip to the mound, that's kind of like the principal coming into a classroom.
Well, he wants to go out there and he wants to look in his eyes like most managers say they want to do, and he wants to just get him to be more aggressive in the strike zone, not try to nibble around the edges, and then you get behind in the count, and then you really got to bring something in there then. So it's easy to go right after the strike zone, right from the very first pitch, and get yourself ahead of the hitter, and now you're in control of the situation.
Now there's a famous story about Ned Yost last year when Greg Holland was making his major league debut. A situation like this came up, and Holland was not throwing strikes. The Royals were in Oakland, and Ned went out to the mound and said, "You've got yourself in quite a spot here, don't you, kid?" And Greg Holland, with his eyes as big as the moon, saying, "Yeah." He says, "Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to throw a pitch down in the zone, and we're going to get a double play. Who wants a ground ball?" And Unievsky Betancourt says, "I want a ground ball." And you're going to get a double play. And on the very next pitch, that's exactly what happened. And you could see Ned kind of going around, not just talking to Duffy, but talking to the infielders. And I wonder if he was drawing up another inning-ending double play. Good pitch over the outside, 1-1. Andrew Jones was hit by a pitch in the second inning. In and out of the Yankee dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No trouble for Danny Duffy in the first. He faced only 3. Yankees loaded the bases in the second, didn't score. They have the bases loaded in the third with 1 run home. And it's pulled foul. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. And already Nate Adcock warming up in the Royals bullpen. Frank, how old do you think Andrew Jones is?
I would say 34.
Well, that took all the drama out of that. Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He seems like he's been around forever.
Let's take a look at this pitch. When you get ahead in the count, this is what you can do. I mean, this ball's on the outside corner. I mean, wow, everybody wanted that.
It's not where Perez was set up, though.
Wow. It's a big plate.
He went. Field by Chad Fairchild at first base. Big strikeout for Duffy, his 3rd. So the bases loaded, 2 outs for Russell Martin, and Duffy struck him out with a curveball in the 2nd inning. And once again, not getting the call on a pitch across the knees, and it was Russell Martin when he batted in the 2nd inning. Pitch was called a ball, and a very similar pitch. Line into left field for a base hit. Teixeira scores. Here's Cano, and Alex Gordon throws it to Duffy. Down to 2nd is Martin. And it's a 3-run inning for the Yankees, and they have a 1-run lead.
If Danny Duffy gets that first call, it's a little bit different inning. He might not have to come in there with the fastball the next pitch, but he had to do it, and Russell Martin hit a line drive to Alex Gordon in left field. And this might be the worst throw Alex made all year right here. He threw the ball over everybody, and Danny Duffy, and being in the right spot, was able to back it up, but he's not used to making that long throw from deep behind the home plate to second base. So Johnny Gianpatello did a good job just going up and just blocking that ball and keeping it on the infield.
And it is an error on Alex with that throw, allowing Martin to move up to 2nd. Had a couple of shots to throw out runners in this inning. Granderson on the base hit from Cano, and now Cano on the base hit from Martin. Perez to his knees to block it. 1-1 to Eduardo Nunez. He reached with an infield single in the 2nd inning, and that's the reason why Danny Duffy's uniform is dirty. He's got grass stains across the front of his jersey. A sliding attempt on the grass, trying to scoop a ground ball to Hosmer. Outside with a curve. 2-1. Pitchers don't normally turn in uniforms like that at the end of the game. Three balls and 1 strike.
Well, sometimes when you have certain balls, Ryan, they're trying to keep that base hit off the board, and sometimes they're called on to do something very athletic, like that play that Danny Duffy was trying to make.
Good heat, and threw it by Nunez in a full count. Broken bat, and Francoeur runs it down in right center field. The Yankees get 3 to take the lead. little ones of the Kansas City region. She is executive director of Happy Bottoms. Started last year to provide diapers to babies and very small children who are born into poverty. Every 31 minutes, a child is born into poverty in Missouri, and Liz and her staff have made sure they are, quote, covered. With the high cost of diapers, Liz says her organization can cover the costs that other aid programs do not. And she's enjoying the game in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat tonight. It'll be Alcides Escobar, Alex Gordon, and Melky Cabrera in the third. Royals scored 2 in the first off of Ivan Nova, and he came back to retire the Royals in order in the second. Escobar 1 out of 4 with a run scored last night. And when we showed you the Royals lineup, showed you that Escobar over his last 61 games is hitting .294, and he adds to that. Gardner can't run it down. And how far will Escobar go? He wants 3. And Jeter can't handle a low throw. Tying run at third with nobody out.
Alcides just hits his 6th triple of the season here. A fastball moved in on his hands, and he was able to get the bat through it, drive the ball in the left center field. He right away, he's running hard right away on this ball. Greg Gardner with his speed couldn't cut it off. It goes all the way to the wall. And you know, the Yankees had 2 plays here where the throw from the outfielder to the relay man is short hop, and they haven't been able to make that continuing throw. So it shows you how important it is for that throw from the outfield to reach that cutoff guy.
Alex Gordon struck out in the first inning. That's Nova's only strikeout. And only Nunez at third is in. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Alex doesn't need to do a whole lot here to tie the game. Ground ball anywhere other than at Nunez, who now begins to back off on the left side. And he grounds it to Nunez. So the pitch before that, he was in. Alex drives in Escobar, and the Royals come right back and tie the game at 3.
They're right, just moving back those few steps that he did certainly saved the Yankees a base hit right there. But Alex did what he needed to do: get a ground ball, get an RBI, and got a tie ball game.
And a strike to Melky Cabrera. Let's go down to Joel.
Ryan, you mentioned the close friendship between Melky Cabrera and Robinson Cano. Talking to Cano today, and he was telling me that he's so happy that Melky's been able to bounce back this year. He said he was very good when he was in New York, but he knew that Melky could be even better, and that's where he's at right now. I told Robinson that we've seen Melky do a lot of joking on the field, some of those dekes in the outfield on balls that he has caught, and he said that's exactly who Melky is. I also pointed out to him that over the last 7 days, as Melky, well, this one won't surprise him, Ryan.
And he puts the Royals in front. KC. Melky with his 16th home run. And now he has the team lead in that department.
This is a slider that just didn't get there. Cabrera did a good job getting the head of the bat through it. It's a line drive right into the bullpen. He got all of that ball. Billy singled and scored in the first inning. Just took one under the chin from Nova.
Joel, I have a feeling the home run interrupted your story.
Well, it's a pretty good one because when Cano was told that over the last 7 days the top 3 batting averages in the American League are Cano, Jeter, Melky, Cano's response was, my 2 brothers, my older brother and my younger brother.
Huh. 2 balls and 1 strike to Billy. And Melky had some words for Cano as he was running the bases. Yeah, whatever. Kids these days. Billy with a base hit into left field. The Royals are a double shy of hitting for the cycle in this inning, and Billy Butler is 2 for 2. Larry Rothschild out to chat with Ivan Nova, Rothschild, the Yankees pitching coach. And a look at our league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Active career home runs. Jim Thome with 600, hitting 2 last night in Detroit. And the milestone home run was against lefty Daniel Schlereth. So second only to Alex Rodriguez, who will be facing Jim Thome and the Twins beginning on Thursday. So congratulations again to one of the real good guys in the game, Jim Thome.
Ironically, Jim Thome's first home run came against the Royals. It was at the Yankee Stadium against Steve Farr. It was the former Royal Steve Farr.
Eric Hosmer doubled in a run and came around to score in the first. And Nova throws a strike. It was Hosmer's first extra base hit in 2 weeks. Not often that Hosmer looks at 2 strikes. And it's 0-2.
I think Eric is always geared for the fastball, and he doesn't want to let that fastball get away. And that's those pretty quick breaking balls.
Martin blocks it. Butler trying to go to second, and he got a good jump and moves up 90 feet. Billy Butler is running wild tonight.
That's good running form, as we talked about earlier. He read the ball in the dirt and went right away, and that's what you have to do. Good secondary lead. Saw it in the dirt and continued into second base.
Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Royals with 2 in the first, Yankees with 3 in the third. And now the Royals right back. Alex Gordon's ground out. Got Escobar to the plate. He had tripled to begin the inning. And Melky Cabrera with a home run to put the Royals back out in front. And now Butler at second base for Hosmer. And once again, Martin blocks it. Butler not going anywhere. 3-2.
Well, we'll take a look at this. We'll look at Derek Jeter when he went to cover second base here. Normally go right to the base, but it's almost like he wasn't expecting a throw on that play, and he was well up in front of the bag on that throw. And look how far back between his legs he caught the ball. I mean, it's almost like he was coming there as a courtesy, not expecting a throw, and all of a sudden, here comes the throw. So right there, you normally would just come right into the bag and wait right there, but he goes right past the bag, even though the throw was coming.
Wow.
And ended up almost 2 feet in front of second base.
to Nunez, who looks Butler back to the bag, and there are 2 outs.
In this situation, with a runner on second base, the third baseman's off the bag quite a bit, so he wants to make sure that that runner from second base is not coming down. He wants to freeze him long enough and get him going back, and then he makes the throw to first base.
Inside with a curveball to Frank Coor. He drove in a run in the first inning, his 65th of the year. So he's 3 out of 5 in this series. Two and 0. Two balls and 1 strike to Frank Coor. Once again, the Royals are spreading out their hits. Last night, all 9 starters had at least one hit, and they're not even done with the 3rd inning, and 6 of the 9 starters have at least one hit. Hit well, left center field. Granderson sprinting, he didn't get it. Butler scores again. Frank Coor drives in a runner again, and the Royals have hit for the cycle in the 3rd inning against Ivan Nova.
Really, it almost looked like Curtis Granderson didn't pick this ball up right away. Frank Coor drives it, but it's high. Breaking ball out over the plate. It's high in the air to left center field, and Granderson looked like he just didn't get a good jump on this ball. And you just got to give Billy credit in this inning for advancing on that wild pitch in the dirt and putting himself in an easier scoring position.
Strike to Giavotella. Out on a fly ball to right field in the 2nd inning. This is a reversal of last night's game. Remember, the Royals had just taken the lead with 3 in the 5th inning, only to watch the Yankees come back with 3 in the 6th. Now the Royals had the lead tonight. Yankees took the lead in the 3rd, and the Royals come right back in the bottom of the 3rd. There's A.J. Burnett, who ended up winning for New York last night, improving to 9-9. And it's been a busy inning for Russell Martin. 1-2 to Giavotella.
All right, and take a look at the outfielders here for the Yankees. They play the shallowest outfield of any team that's coming here this year. And so you always ask yourself, how do you get a triple to left center field? As a right-handed hitter, that's how you do it. They play shallow. You hit a line drive, you split them. The ball goes all the way to the wall. They do more chasing the ball in that case. And Alcides Escobar was able to get himself a triple.
Outside, 2-2. That's a bit odd in this ballpark because the gaps are so big and there's so much room behind the outfielders.
That's a huge, and if you hit anything that's similar to a line drive in those gaps, that ball's going to go all the way to the wall. And then last night, Swisher and Wright made some really nice plays to save some early runs, but it's that long one that's going to get you sooner or later.
And Martin blocked it, but he didn't realize he blocked it. Looking in the air, and then behind him, second wild pitch of the inning for Nova, and Frank Coor.
His second wild pitch from Nova in the game, but it's his 8th wild pitch on the season, so that's something that's not new to him when he pitches. You got to be able to block that hard slider down in the dirt.
the inning with a strikeout, but the Royals come up with 3 and they hit for the cycle. Now Cetus Escobar opens the inning with a triple. Melky Cabrera with a home run, a single from Billy Butler, capped by a Frank Hoover double. Line power. Good power tonight. Danny Duffy feeling better now than the last time he was standing on the mound. Yankees scored 3 in the third to take the lead. A hit batter and a walk coming around a score in that inning. But the Royals just answered with 3 in the bottom of the third. So Duffy pitching with a 2-run lead for the second time. Brett Gardner, Derek Jeter, Curtis Granderson coming up.
Well, Danny's had 2 pretty tough innings, pitch count wise. In the third inning, what the runs came in, and 3 runs. So he needs to come out now. He's got another 2-run breather. Just come out and get through an easy inning. I think it'll help him a lot. But he has another long inning, like the second and the third. That might be the end for him tonight.
Curveball missed away, 2-1. Gardner popped out to third with the bases loaded in the second inning. A drag bunt. He gets it by the mound, and that's the key on that play. And nothing Giavotella can do but pick it up. So Gardner starts the inning with his first hit of the night.
Perfect drag bunt against the left-handed pitcher. All you want to do is get the ball just past the mound. Being a lefty, Duffy falls off to the third base side, is not able to get back, and Giavotella, all he can do there is just eat that one. That's a perfect drag bunt by Brett Gardner.
So Jeter at the plate with a line out to right and a ground out to third. And a huge distraction at first for Danny Duffy. Brett Gardner has 36 stolen bases. And Jeter takes ball 1. Coco Crisp, the former Royal, now at the A's, leads the league. He has 37 stolen bases. Going with a slide step, and it's 1-1. Take that back. No balls, 2 strikes. And Jeter looking up at the scoreboard and seeing 1 ball and 1 strike with the first pitch is called a strike, so it's 0-2. Still 0-2. When the season began, the Derek Jeter 3,000 hit countdown was underway, and he did not get off to a good start. He went on the disabled list with a calf injury, the last thing he wanted to do. But 2 things happened. When he came back, he was able to time it perfectly to get his 3,000 hit in New York. And he really started hitting after coming back from the DL. He went 5 for 5 in the game when he got his 3,000 hit. So 260 before the injury, 326 after the injury. And if you look at the second half as a whole, he's well over 300.
And on the production side too, 19 RBI in 21 games. So that's a hit down in the order. That's pretty good.
He got to a tough pitch down and in. Gardner to third. He'll be waved home. Escobar plays the throw on a short hop, and Derek Jeter drives in his 4th run of the series.
It's kind of interesting on Brett Gardner at first base being a lefty. Duffy was able to freeze him, and when this ball was hit, that's when that speed takes over, and that allows him to make up some ground because he didn't get a good secondary off first base. So with Gardner's speed, he's able to score from first base on that ball in the corner to Alex Gordon.
Alcides Escobar goes over to tell him nice hit. Now Granderson bunts, and Perez will throw to third, and Jeter got under the tag. No base hit. It's a fielder's choice. 2-5.
Take a look at this bunt. It's a tough pitch to bunt. He was able to get it out in front of the plate, and Perez comes up throwing right away. But a high throw to the inside, and Derek Jeter was able to get underneath Moustakas' tag at third base.
And now Teixeira launches it into the corner, but he was out in front. Just missed a 3-run home run. Now, this is what the Yankees can do. Really, any veteran hitting team. And first time through, just going up there and seeing pitches, seeing what Danny Duffy has. Trying to get hits, don't get me wrong, but not as concerned with their first at-bats as they are with their second and third at-bats. And now, first time through, they have an idea of what Danny Duffy has. Danny just breezed through the Yankees in the first, able to get around the bases loaded in the second. And now fighting for his life in the last 2 innings.
Well, everything up, they've just haven't had that good swings at it, and they've been able to drive some of those pitches. And you can see right there, that fastball's up, followed by, it was a curveball up before that pitch. And they look at the Yankees. The Yankees are 25-10 against left-handed pitchers, and they did have a string of 7 straight until they ran into David Price. So they've done very well against left-handed pitchers. But right in this inning right now, even though Derek Jeter down, everything up that Danny Duffy's leaving up, they're taking hacks at.
Just missed. And Danny's got to be careful. I mean, it was close, but he's got his own issues at the moment. He doesn't want to infuriate the home plate umpire.
Not when you're struggling to hit the strike zone on a regular basis, and the umpire can always come back and use that against you.
Line over Giammatella, and just like that, the Yankees tie the game. Ned Yost. So Danny Duffy, who was breathing fire in the first inning, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout, allowed 3 base runners in the second, 5 in the third, and now the first 4 have reached in the fourth. Ned Yost has not made a move, so either he's trying to give Duffy in the infield a pep talk, or he thinks that Nate Adcock needs a little more time in the bullpen. And maybe Ned went out to the mound to ask Kerwin Danley about his strike zone. Now that seemed harmless, and there's 2 ways to look at it. First of all, umpires don't want to be shown up, and Ned clearly was walking off the mound talking to Danley. And then, even though this rule isn't really enforced in the big leagues, you are not supposed to argue balls and strikes. That is supposed to be, and I say supposed in quotes, supposed to be an automatic ejection.
Well, it's supposed to be, and a lot of time managers go to the mound and wait for the home plate umpire to come out there, and then his intent is not really to take the pitcher out, which is what I think Kerwin Danley was thinking. But Ned Yost started talking balls and strikes on the way down the hill toward home plate, and that's what got him ejected on at this particular time. And I think it all goes back to that first pitch.
So John Gibbons will be at the wheel for the rest of the game. Well, if anything, I would think if I was a 22-year-old lefty fighting to stay in the game against the Yankees, and my manager comes out, first of all, gives me a pep talk, allows me to stay in the game, and gets thrown out on my behalf, that would be a bit of a confidence boost.
Well, you're right. I mean, he's going out there really to kind of protect his pitcher a little bit. You know, you saw Danny's frustration when he didn't get the call, and Ned's going out there to really just support his pitcher in that situation. And so now it's up to Danny to do his part. Just regroup, do what the manager asks you to do, and try to get out of this inning.
1-1 on Cano.
I have to think Ned's probably, you know, they don't really get to see what we see on Fox tracks. They basically see height of ball, and I'm sure he talks to Salvador Perez between innings asking where some of those pitches were. So it was probably a build-up from probably the second inning on that really brought him to this point.
I don't know if Ned wanted to get thrown out of the game, but since he's become Royals manager, I can't think of one time where he was thrown out and you sit back and you go, now why did he do that? I mean, he always seems to have a purpose, maybe to fire up the club, if not to support one of his players. And he was going to let Kerwin Danley know what he thought about his strike zone and see if it has a positive effect on Danny Duffy.
Well, Kerwin Danley let him walk quite a ways. They discussed it a lot longer than I thought they would, and they got down their home plate. And, you know, the umpire always say that's enough. Don't argue balls and strikes, and you take it one more step, and that's usually that one step that gets you ejected.
And now Danny has to find the right way to pitch to Robinson Cano. He is lined to first on one of the hardest hit balls tonight. And then when he was down, no balls, 2 strikes, he singled to left, driving in a run. And now he's going to get a 3-1 pitch, and he fouls it away. I mean, we've seen it before. Manager gets thrown out, and you don't say it on the air, but you look at one another and say, oh, whatever. That didn't make any sense, but there was a purpose behind Ned making the first trip, waiting for Kerwin Danley and escorting, if you will, Kerwin Danley back to his position behind home plate.
Yeah, I think that was the intent right there. And you're trying to get your team fired up, too. You try to, you know, this is a tough week for the ball club, and he wants these guys coming out ready to play against two of the best teams in baseball. And when you do this seesaw type game, he wants his team to get ahead in the game. He wants to hold on to it for a little while. And when you go out and get two, give up three, get three, give up two more, I mean, that's what drives the manager nuts.
Fox Tracks and Kerwin Danley will not be going out for a cold beverage after the game tonight. Another foul ball from Cano. Robinson Cano, remember, part of our discussion in the Sprint You Call It question, who is the best second baseman in the American League? And Robinson Cano with a 30-point advantage over Dustin Pedroia. And another foul ball. 86 pitches for Duffy, and there is nobody out in the fourth. Adcock has been standing under the rubber for quite a while now, which means he's ready to go, just waiting for the call. Royals are hoping that Duffy can turn this inning around and get through 4. Curve, and he just got a piece of it. That's 5 straight foul balls from Cano. Gardner opened the inning with a bunt single. Jeter doubled him in. Granderson on a bunt attempt reached on a fielder's choice. And then Mark Teixeira with a single to score Jeter. And another foul ball. It's a 25-pitch inning without an out.
Robinson Cano has fouled off a couple pretty tough pitches. A high curveball that backed up on him. He was able to get a piece of that one. That breaking ball down almost in the dirt. He was able to get a piece, get the bat on that one too. That's really a bad situation for a pitcher. You say, where can I go now? You know, you're looking for room to go. Every ball you've thrown, no matter what location, he's gotten the bat on it, and that's lefty versus lefty.
That's 7 straight foul balls.
They got Robinson Cano saying, okay, I'll foul off the tough ones and I'll just try to wait and hope you make a mistake. And that's how these long at bats go.
Center field. You could almost see that coming. A 3-run home run, and New York leads 8-5. And that was a big league at bat. Called to the bullpen, and it's Nate Adcock. He comes on with the bases empty and nobody out. Bat, 8 foul balls, including 7 in a row, and then this.
He just waits for a breaking ball out over the plate there. That's one of the only actual strikes that Danny Duffy threw him in this at bat. He fouled off the tough pitches, and he waited for Duffy to make a pitch out over the plate, and he drives it into right center field. And we talk about Robinson Cano being a .319 hitter coming in against the left-handers. He continues that tonight. He's hit .299 against right-handers.
So Nate Adcock, and for all intents and purposes, he gets a clean inning because he comes on with nobody on, nobody out. And it'll be Nick Swisher, who singled and walked against Duffy. So he moves over to the left side. One hop to Giavotella, and that's the first out of the inning. Don't miss Fireworks Friday. That's coming up for Game 2 with the Boston Red Sox. Royals take on Boston at 7:10. And be sure to stay after the game for a great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. For more details, visit Royals.com/fan-value. Andrew Jones jammed badly by Adcock. Eustaquis throws him out. 2 away. Before Danny Duffy gave up that home run to Robinson Cano, he had allowed 1 home run in his last 34 2/3 innings, which is a pretty handy statistic when you're facing the Yankees. The Royals losing Game 1 last night, but kept the Yankees in the ballpark. And for Duffy, it's just the 4th time in 15 starts that he's given up more than 3 earned runs. Russell Martin had a 2-run single in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two and 1. This is not Adcock's first appearance against the Yankees. He faced the Yankees in May and pitched an inning and 2/3 scoreless. Remember, Adcock had that strange beginning to his big league career where every time he took the mound, it seemed, in his first 4 or 5 appearances, he was pitching in front of a sellout. Made his big league debut on opening day here, then pitched his second big league game when the Royals went to Detroit. It was their home opener. And then after that, pitched in Minnesota, and that was a sellout. So quite a change for a guy who played in the Florida State League last year for Bradenton, the A-ball level for the Pirates. Grounded foul, still 3-2.
And Nate, this season has one of those relievers in the bullpen that he's not always the first, second, and third guy out of the bullpen. So he's got to do a lot of work, inside work, to try to stay sharp. And when he gets in games, it's usually a long time in between appearances when he gets on the mound.
Now Martin walks. So Eduardo Nunez comes to the plate. He's the 9th man to bat for the Yankees in a 5-run 4th inning. Doesn't seem that long ago the Royals just scored 3 in the bottom of the 3rd to regain the lead right after New York got 3 in the top of the 3rd. Melky Cabrera homered. Alex Gordon drove in a run. Jeff Rancour drove in a run. And the Royals had a 5-3 lead when this inning began, and now the Yankees with 5 in the 4th. Nunez grounds it past Escobar and into left field. So it is Nate Adcock's game. Nobody warming up behind him. And here's the guy that started all this. Brett Gardner with a bunt single. A drag bunt that he got past the mound, forcing Giavotella to field. And there was really nothing Giavotella could do. The beginning of a 5-run inning. And the Royals hope it's only a 5-run inning. Brett Gardner 8 out of 16 against the Royals this year. And now Perez out to chat with Adcock. Yankees and the Red Sox tied for first place when games began today. And the Red Sox and the Rays playing a doubleheader. Boston won game 1. So at the moment the Red Sox have a half-game lead over the Yankees. Joe Girardi's team, after playing here tomorrow, will go to Minnesota for 4. The Red Sox will be here for a 4-game series. Good movement. 2-1. Yankees have been to the playoffs in 15 of the last 16 years. Finished in second place last season to Tampa Bay. They beat Minnesota in the first round and then lost to Texas. And then Texas falling to San Francisco in the World Series. Martin at second base, Nunez at first in a 5-run 4th for New York. on the ground to Giavotella. And the inning finally comes to an end. The Yankees bat 10. They score 5 and lead by 3. Pepsi Max is giving fans the opportunity to build their own Field of Dreams team. You could win a chance to play ball with some of the game's greatest. Visit MLB.com/Pepsi Max for details. And remember, if you build it, they will come. Pepsi Max. Well, two ways to look at how Ivan Nova is going to go after this bottom of the 4th inning. First of all, he has a 3-run lead. He has been sitting around for a long time. It was a 30-minute top of the 4th inning, so the Royals can hope that maybe he lost some of his rhythm as the Yankees batted 10 and scored 5. Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, and Alcides Escobar. And Nova throws a strike. He got Perez on a ground ball to short in the 2nd inning. Two. Royals scored 2 in the 1st against Nova, and that came with 2 outs and nobody on. Royals with 3 straight hits and 2 runs. Yankees with 3 in the top of the 3rd. Royals with 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. And then the Yankees just scored 5 in the 4th. Still 0-2 on Perez.
You know, normally when you're pitching a game like this and it's an even game and you sit on the bench and you have to wait for a long inning, I think sometimes it makes a big difference in how you go back on the mound. But when you give up a couple and your team comes back and gets you even again, you give up a couple and now you're sitting over there, now you find yourself ahead again. I would think he'd be jumping up and down and not resting like a normal reliever, but can't wait to get back out there.
Perez left center field, got underneath it. Gardner makes the play, 1 down. The Royals in Fox Sports Kansas City present our 3rd University Day game with K-State Day at Kauffman Stadium. That's on Sunday. Wildcats fans are invited to take advantage of special ticket prices and join us for special pregame activities. Go to Royals.com/K-State for more information. Mike Moustakas lines it right to Curtis Granderson. Moustakas is 0 for 2. Of course, the best thing that Nova could do after that long top of the 4th would be to have a fast inning and get the Royals back out standing around. Royals did a lot of standing around in the top half of this inning. in the dirt to Alcides Escobar. He tripled leading off the third inning. Alex Gordon got him home on a ground out. One and one. And on the ground to Cano. So Nova only needs 8 pitches to get to the bottom of the 4th inning. Privilege of having the greatest hitter in Royals history and the greatest fielder in Royals history up here in the booth, and we're going to talk about Royals fantasy camp. How are you, George?
I'm doing great. I got to get my cheat sheet. When is it, Frank? January 30th, I think.
First week of February.
I think it's January 30th. Got to be.
Well,
30
anyway, you
years
can
old.
come and pick up a brochure here at the stadium if you need some information.
Frank's handing them out.
Oh boy. Well, Derek Jeter, George, and I'm sure when you saw him hit his home run for his 3,000th hit, it must have brought back some memories.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but he got it like his first 4 at bats, didn't he? Kind of like I did. And
you had 4 hits, right?
I had 4.
Yeah.
He had 4. I think to get
5.
it. He had 5. Yeah. His was a home run, and you know when I was concerned about getting the ball, Frank. Mm-hmm. You hit a home run, you might not get the ball back, so I just hit a single.
Well,
He planned it that way.
I did. I could have hit a home run if I wanted to.
was it?
I'm not going to doubt it.
Was it Ken Obertfeld?
Ken
They
Obertfeld,
almost
second
had
baseman.
to take the ball out of his teeth for the souvenir.
That was the
if I
hardest
remember.
ball I hit that night, by the way.
He thought he had a nice little routine ground ball.
Right. They took a little bad hop.
Yep. I would think a lot of people these days who have watched Jeter play his career and were around long enough, maybe this is a question for Frank more than George, but we're around long enough to see George's career. A lot of comparisons here. Guys who played hard, played every day, were more concerned with championships and just really took on the face of the franchise when they were playing for their organization. Do you see those similarities?
Well, yeah. I mean, when George first came up, he had a different type of swing, and then he got with Charlie Loud and revamped his swing, and Charlie also was the one that was responsible for the way we played the game. I mean, when we first saw George stretch a single into a double, then that showed us that there was a different way to play the game. And so
Hal McRae showed me.
Right. So So you guys were both going through a swing change at that particular time, and you guys both went down to the last day for the batting championship in 1976. And after that, the team just kind of developed that aggressive style of play where everybody ran the bases hard. We took advantage of the turf that we had here. We broke up double plays, but nobody broke up double plays better than George Brett and Al McRae. Those guys,
I don't think people like playing us.
Well, it helped me as a middle infielder.
Okay, I'm on the air, so we'll have a 4-pitch inning.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's right.
Perfect.
No, we also have the makings of a 4-hour game, so you can stay here all night if you want to. George, who do you like watching today and you say, that was me?
Let me see. Let me look around. I see Francoeur doing it a lot. Catching singles and doubles. Plays very, very hard. I think people are going to like Giovatelli when they get a chance to see him start to get some hits on a consistent basis and run the bases. Obviously, last night he got picked off and then got thrown out stealing, but he plays very, very aggressive. Moustakas hasn't been on base enough yet, but he plays very hard. And Alex Gordon. I mean, Frank, you got to be amazed at how good he's become a left fielder. I
mean, I saw him in Double-A. I thought he was when he got here and struggled a little bit there, and then he went to the left field, and everything just place for him. And, and I think what I like about the fact that his third base instincts went to the left field with him. You know, release point, getting rid of the ball quick, getting off the ground and to his feet to throw. Similar to what you guys do at third base, diving for balls left and right.
Yeah, he's really developed into a great left fielder.
And he looks like he's having more fun this year. I'm sure the numbers.
Oh yeah,
help.
he's hitting 300.
But I mean, we're seeing more of his personality though, and that was in.
But his personality is going to come out. He's used to being successful, Ryan, and you know when you're hitting 220, 230, and you're the college player of the year, the minor league player of the year, and you expected all these things out of this kid. When he got to the big leagues and it didn't happen, you know, he's going to climb into a shell a little bit, and all of a sudden now he's having the type of year that we expected him to have years ago. Now the personality is what you saw in Double-A, probably.
Same. I mean, I'm one of the guys that was really glad to see him come out because I had seen things that people here hadn't seen before.
Sure. Well, anyway, those stories and more at Royals Fantasy Camp. Come on by the stadium and get a brochure. Thanks, George. That's it. You want to stick around? AT&T trivia question. Who has the most hits all time without ever winning a batting title?
I got it. Is that right?
Apparently it is. Okay. Did you know that, or did that come to you?
No, I knew he had 3,300 hits.
Oh, okay.
That's how I knew it.
Well, that just proves my point once again when we do our trivia question. I've said for a while, George, that if the trivia question
you do
comes
not know
up,
you do not know how many games I watch on TV.
Right.
I haven't gotten one all year.
Okay.
I think I got one about me once. That was it.
Clutch once again. The one at bat he gets all year, he hits a home run. Alex into left center, and Brett Gardner makes a play. But I've always
that's a home run in fantasy camp, Frank, isn't it?
I've always said, George, that if the question comes up and I answer it quickly, you know, Kevin Shank jumps all over me for taking all the drama and suspense out of it. But if Frank answers it right away, or if you answer it right away, oh boy, great guess. There it is. I tell you one thing you guys do. I've not been to fantasy camp, but I've talked to several guys, and one thing I hear all the time
that's a home run in fantasy camp right there too.
Fantasy campers feel like one of the guys when they hang out with you.
Frank, who has more fun in your opinion, fantasy campers or us?
I really think we do. Yeah, we have a great time because we rehash a lot of stories and we rehash them in front of the campers, and that's really the best part. And with the campers, they have these stories they want to tell. They know where they were when they met us, and different events throughout our careers, and that's the fun part.
Thing I always hear from players when they retire, they don't talk about the big hits they got and the championships they won. I mean, it's part of it, but it's how much they're going to miss being with the guys every day.
Oh my goodness, we have some great clubhouses, and I say when you win, it's just so much more fun. And I think that's what makes fantasy camp what it is. It's because we were winners and they want to be a part of it, and a lot. We have so many repeat guys.
Yeah.
And now this year with Mike Sweeney coming, Steve Alboni, it'll make a big difference.
They want to be winners. That's why they're not on my team, Ryan. I don't pick good players. I pick guys that want to have the most fun.
That's right. Who picks the managers, though?
Dina Waffen.
Okay. But you get to pick your players.
Well, kind of. How good is he?
Another quick inning.
He's best.
George,
Okay.
thanks a lot. Blue Crew package is now half price. Now for just $10. Your package includes a powder blue batting practice jersey, Royals cap, 2 Royals game ticket vouchers, and much more. Presented by U.S. Toy. Visit Royals.com/Blue Crew to order your child's Blue Crew package today. Here's a candidate. Paying no attention to the scoreboard at all. Having a great time on a beautiful night. 84 perfect degrees at first pitch. Robinson Cano turned a tie game into a 3-run Yankee lead with a 3-run home run in the 4th. That's a foul ball by a couple of feet. Cano had 1 RBI in New York in the Royals-Yankees 3-game series. That was one of the important bats that the Royals held down and took 2 out of 3. But tonight alone, Cano has 4 RBIs. On the ground to Moustakas, and the Royals had Cano played perfectly. Moustakas over in the hole on the left side. Cano is 2 for 4.
Well, you can see how the Royals are shifting around a little bit, and Cano really hit this ball well. It's in the shortstop hole, and Moustakas is well over there to make this play.
And that's on the ground to Giavotella. So Adcock, since coming on last inning, has gotten 5, made that 6 ground ball outs. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White and Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium, with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson. The producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis, and our technical director on his 50th birthday, Richard the Rocket Harlan. 1-1 to Andrew Jones. One ball and 2 strikes. Adcock has gotten 8 hits since coming in the 4th inning, or 8 outs, I should say, and 6 have been on the ground, and that's his game. That's the pitch the Royals saw when they took him in the Rule 5, the sinking fastball. There's a breaking ball down and away, no swing. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And struck him out. Yankees down in the 6th inning. They lead 8-5.
Donald Clements from Blue Springs, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Donald will win $400. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Donald will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Royals have a home run. Melky Cabrera in the third inning, his 16th of the year to lead the Royals. And his good buddy Robinson Cano has a 3-run home run for the Yankees. And Ivan Nova, who was in quite a bit of trouble in the first 3 innings, has now retired 8 of the last 9 and 7 in a row. He gave up a double and an RBI to Eric Hosmer in the first inning. Hosmer grounded out in the third. Cano shifting his feet. You don't teach it that way, but it sure looks smooth the way he does it. 1 away in the 6th. Right now on FoxSportsKansasCity.com, read about the Royals signing first-round draft pick Bubba Starling. Steve Cameron's take on the reaction of Royals GM Dayton Moore, who admitted he was nervous about the marquee signing. All on FoxSportsKansasCity.com.
I remember Dayton in his interview last night said he had so much adrenaline going, it was hard to come down.
Jeff Francoeur has a 3-hit game.
Jeff does a great job at fastball moving in on his hand and gets his body out of the way, and his bat really looks quick tonight.
Royals really need to do something here. They need some sort of a spark, and maybe Francoeur will get the inning going.
Well, I mean, he does a good job here. He's doing his part tonight. He's a fastball. He drives it in that shortstop hole in the left field. And you're right, Ryan. Big inning for the Royals right now.
Are down by only 3, but it feels much bigger than that. And the Royals still have plenty of outs to go on offense. They had scored 3 in the bottom of the third to take a 5-3 lead, and then the Yankees scored 5 in the fourth. Cano hitting a 3-run home run, and that just took the air out of the ballpark. And Giovatello's ahead 2-0. He has flied out and struck out against Nova. Giovatello had 3 hits last night. And that missed. 3-0. Nova's had a couple of long innings, 23 in the first, 28 in the third, but he's been able to counter that with, look at that, 3 innings with 8 pitches. Most of the guys would be happy to just have 1 inning like that. 3 balls and 1 strike. At the knees, 3-2. And that's a call that the Royals were not getting. Danny Duffy wasn't getting. And that part of the strike zone, a point of contention between Ned Yost and home plate umpire Kerwin Danley. And Ned thrown out of the game after visiting Danny Duffy in the 4th inning. And Giovatello walks, and that's the first walk given up by Nova. So the tying run comes to the plate with 1 out. Boone Logan, who pitched last night, is warming up, and Joe Girardi only needed him for 2 outs. Salvador Perez is grounded out to short and flied out to left. And that's hit into left center field, and it is down. So there's the spark the Royals needed. And Perez is going to drive in two to make it a one-run game.
Take a look at this pitch. It's supposed to be on the outside, but it runs down in the middle, back in the middle of the plate. And you look at this swing right off the top of the shoulder, right down through the ball. Nice form right there. Nice finish. And like I say, the depth of these outfielders for the Yankees, you hit a ball like that, it's going to split them all. And by the time they chase it down, Giovatello scored from first base.
So it is a Chevy call to the bullpen, and Boone Logan in to face Mike Moustakas. Outfield after hitting a two-run double and driving into and making it a one-run game and chasing Ivan Nova out of the game. So it's Boone Logan for the second straight game. And Logan came on last night in the sixth. Didn't. He picked off Johnny Giovatello, which resulted in a caught stealing. And then in the seventh inning got two outs. And he had come on last night to face Mike Moustakas. And that's who he gets here with Perez at second base and one out. Moustakas against Ivan Nova has grounded out and lined to center field. And a strike from Boone Logan, and we talked about it last night. That arm angle, that release point, can pose some problems for a left-hand batter.
That'd be a good time for Mike to break out and get himself a base hit tonight.
Logan struck out Moustakas last night. And got the call, no balls and two strikes.
Well, that's one pitch that Mike's have a hard time dealing with right there. One baseball off that corner on the outside, down and away. Goes down in the hole right here. Just got to try to put something in play that's close to the plate.
And got him with a tough breaking ball down and away. So for the second straight night, Logan comes on to strike out Moustakas. And there are two down. And Logan will stay on to face Alcides Escobar, because if the inning goes beyond Escobar, Alex Gordon will come to the plate. So he'll get another left-hand batter. Escobar tripled and scored in the third, grounded out in the fourth. Grounded, diving play by Teixeira. He goes to the bag. A Gold Glove play by a Gold Glover. And the Royals came very close to tying the game, except for this phenomenal play by Mark Teixeira.
Gold Glove winner at first base, and he's playing in, and he does a great job going laterally. You know, the angle that he took to cut this ball off was just phenomenal. Didn't go straight across, dove back, and made a nice play.
So it's Aaron Crow in the top of the seventh inning. And Nate Adcock able to give the Royals 3 scoreless innings, only gave up 1 hit. And if you add up Nate Adcock's ground ball outs and strikeouts, that accounted for 8 of his 9 outs. So keeping the ball down against the Yankees, only 1 fly ball out. So if the Royals come back in this game and win it, obviously we'll have some late inning dramatics, and we can talk about their comeback. And the Royals will need to hold it together in the bullpen for that to happen. But we may go back and talk about Nate Adcock restoring some order for 3 innings.
Yeah, he did a good job getting the ball on the ground, and that sinker was working very well tonight.
Russell Martin not happy with that call with Kerwin Danley. It was Martin on 2 different occasions who was at the plate, and Danny Duffy thought he had thrown a strike at the knees to Martin. And Kerwin Danley did not call it a strike. Crow misses outside. 1-1. Martin with a 2-run single and the Yankees 3-run third. Now down 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still 1-2. It was a tough trip for Aaron Crow on Wednesday. He came on with the Royals way out in front with a 4-run lead. And it was the beginning of the Rays' 5-run ninth. They scored the winning runs against Joakim Soria, but Crow started the inning, gave up a couple of base hits, and then Soria came on. And then on Saturday at Chicago, he entered with 2 on and nobody out in the 7th. And he struck out Paul Konerko, but then gave up a game-tying double to Carlos Quentin. And then a couple of walks to force in the go-ahead run.
I think the walks is really what you look at. It's just overall command during that little period where he lost command of his fastball and his slider.
Eduardo Nunez and Brett Gardner will follow Russell Martin in the 7th inning. Good pitch, man. That was a sinker with some teeth. Fighting in on Russell Martin, and a good start for Aaron Crow.
I mean, look how much this two-seamer moves. I mean, it moved a long way, and he tried to catch up with it, but it had too much velocity and too much sink. You think he's right on that pitch right there, but he's well above that pitch on that swing.
Martin might have been better off swinging and missing at that pitch, because if he made contact, his hands might have been buzzing for the rest of the season. Eduardo Nunez has 2 hits, playing at third base tonight. Eric Chavez was at third last night. We thought that Alex Rodriguez was going to come back from the disabled list in this series, but now it appears that he will meet the Yankees in Minnesota, and they begin that series on Thursday.
The grouping at the lower corner, Foxtrack said that those pitches are on the plate, but the inconsistency on the ball down all the way across the zone has been there all night.
Backhanded by Escobar. Long throw in time.
City does a great job of getting his feet together. He's really set to throw this ball. As soon as he hits his glove, it makes a long throw. And Eric Hosmer really helps him out with a stretch to make that throw a little bit shorter. He goes in the hole, plants, and they got to throw off. And you see how far Eric Hosmer came to help this play. But we've seen Alcides do this all year. He's very consistent.
And it brings up Brett Gardner, and he grounds it past Hoffner, and look at Gardner go. A stand-up triple, and Gardner has another 2-hit game against the Royals.
One thing you can say, when in front of home plate, it's got to be hard. I mean, this ball bounces a long way, and Eric Hosmer does everything he could to keep this ball from getting by him at first base. You see a big bounce right all the way to the outfield almost before it even hits the ground. And the speed of Brett Gardner, I mean, that's, to me, when you got speed in the game, Ryan, I think it just changes the whole game. And fans love it, I believe, too.
So 2 for 4 tonight, and 9 out of 16 against the Royals this year. Bob McClure out to have a quick chat with Aaron Crow and Salvador Perez before Derek Jeter comes to the plate. Remember, you can secure your priority to the 2012 All-Star Game with 2012 season tickets. It's the only way to make sure you are part of Kansas City history. For details, go to Royals.com/2012. Ball 1 to Derek Jeter, 1 for 4 with an RBI after driving in 3 last night.
You know, normally when you see ballparks, you have single ball pitchers. They usually soften that area up in front of home plate, so when the ball hit, it flattens out. But you're a single ball pitcher here, and you get that top spin, and the balls are almost going to the outfield once they hit in front of home plate with that top spin before they hit the ground. I used to go in that old Tiger Stadium in Sparky Anderson. He would wet that thing down so much in front of home plate. Plus, he had high grass and took advantage of the sinker ballers. And sometimes you got to tailor your field to your pitcher.
Jeter goes the other way, and he has driven in 5 in the series. And once again, the Yankees answer the Royals. They lead 9-7.
I mean, this is what Derek Jeter does right here. Is a fastball coming in on him, but he does a great job. He's got that natural inside-out swing, and he hits a line drive into right field and get himself an RBI. Brett Gardner just trots in from third base.
And ball 1 to Curtis Granderson. Hitless tonight, but he scored twice. Hit by a pitch, came around to score in the third, and then tried to bunt for a base hit in the fourth. The Royals tried to throw out Jeter going to third. He was safe. Granderson reached and came around to score in that inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Curtis Granderson with more of a closed stance. And remember last night we were talking about an adjustment he made here in Kansas City, which turned that season around and carried into this year. He said that actually he started making the adjustment in Texas, the series before Kansas City, but first time he brought it into the game was here, closing his stance and getting his hands back a little farther away from his hip. He used to have a wide open stance and had his hands right over the left side of his chest, over his left chest muscle, but now the stance is closed, hands back near his shoulder. 2-2.
I think one thing that really helps him do is stay back. You know, when your hands get too close to your body, there's a tendency not to be able to push him away. And you kind of carry him with you, and it hurts your bat speed. But once you get him away from you like that, now you can swing. Your swing becomes a lot freer, and the bat speed increases. That's one of the things I see in Mike Moustakas. You know, you just don't see the separation between body and hands, where you get the bat speed going, where he can drive the ball and have the ball, make the ball have carry. You know, right now he carries them with him a little bit, and when he hits it, then the ball leaves. And it leaves quick, but it dies quick, so that means you're not really getting through the ball and creating that backspin.
Granderson's first hit in the series, and that's going to be the end of the line for Aaron Crow. So with 2 outs and nobody on, a triple, back-to-back singles, a run scoring, and it's Greg Holland with 2 on, 2 out.
It was a full moon on the 15th, and now it's starting to get smaller.
So a waning gibbous, not to be confused with a waxing gibbous. Greg Holland in relief of Aaron Crow. And Aaron desperately in need of a good inning or a stretch of good innings. Got the first 2 outs, now 3 straight hits, and now Greg Holland, who has retired 72% of the first batters he has faced, and he needs to do that here. And that first batter is Mark Teixeira with 2 on and 2 out. He goes the other way. Alex is back and makes the catch. Yankees get 1 in the 7th and lead by 2. Welcome to the state capitol and governor's mansion in Jefferson City. State capitol was completed in 1918 and covers 3 acres, also housing the Missouri State Museum, and features exhibits of historical significance. The governor's mansion was constructed in 1871 as the official residence of Missouri's first family. Visitors can tour their home and learn the history of many of the state's great governors. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. So that first batter efficiency works for Greg Holland as he gets Mark Teixeira to keep it at a 2-run game. And Boone Logan, who got the final 2 outs of the 6th inning with a huge assist from Mark Teixeira at first, will stay on to face at least Alex Gordon. Hey, take your group out to Kauffman Stadium and you'll save big. Groups of 20 or more get a significant discount compared to single game ticket prices. And for group tickets, call 816-504-4040 or visit royals.com/group. Alex Gordon 0 for 3 tonight. He does have an RBI. And Logan misses inside with a hard breaking ball. Logan, in relief of Ivan Nova, struck out Mike Moustakas and then got Alcides Escobar on a ground out to first. Sort of. Can't really say he got him out on a ground ball to first because it was a bullet. And Mark Teixeira diving toward the line to save it. It would have tied the game. Teixeira back to the bag, and then the Yankees got a run back in the 7th. 2-1.
The 2 similarities between Mark Teixeira and Eric Hosmer is that they don't really rely on the pitcher to get to first base. When they get a ground ball, they're going to try to, if they can, take everything themselves and get the pitcher out of the plate.
Alex lifts it to left. There, Brett Gardner sets himself, 1 away. And Joe Girardi is out of the dugout. So Logan faces 3 and retires 3. Melky Cabrera and Billy Butler coming up with 1 out. And it will be Rafael Soriano, who pitched last night, when we come back. now turns the ball over to Rafael Soriano, and the Royals scored against him last night. He went 2/3 of an inning, coming on in the 7th, as he does tonight. Gave up a walk and an RBI double, and that RBI double was to Melky Cabrera. Melky homered in the 3rd inning, his team leading 16th of the year. So Melky Cabrera right now leads the Royals in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. 0-1. He has hit in 9 straight. He has 3 RBIs in this series. One and one.
Well, this home run here is back in the 3rd inning. Picked on a curveball that stayed inside and hit a line drive into the right field bullpen.
Had a few friendly words for his buddy and former teammate Robinson Cano.
Yeah, he's a guy that's just really having fun playing baseball right now.
Cano, the very next half inning, said, "You want to see a home run? I'll show you a home run."
Boy, did he ever.
Cano hit a 421-foot home run. 2-2. Count around the end of the bat, and Granderson runs it down 2 away. Soriano last year with the Rays led the American League with 45 saves. Pretty good trade, as the Rays acquired him the previous offseason for Jesse Chavez. And then Jesse coming over to the Royals last year at the trading deadline, along with Tim Collins and Gregor Blanco. That was a deal that sent Rick Ankiel and Kyle Farnsworth to Atlanta. Down and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals scored all 7 of their runs against Ivan Nova. That came in 5 1/3 innings. One and two. Down on strikes. So tonight, the Royals do not score against Soriano. We go to the 8th. And let's take a look at the American League scoreboard, brought to you by Panera Bread. Doubleheader, and Boston and Tampa Bay split the doubleheader. Detroit beating Minnesota 7-1. And Cleveland is trailing Chicago. So the Tigers with a 2-game lead, could be a 3-game lead. Chicago 3.5 back, so they continue to hang in there. Texas at the Angels. Texas lead in the West is now 5, and the Rangers have won 4 in a row. Biggest lead right now in baseball, Philadelphia is in front of Atlanta by 8.5. How'd you like to be the Atlanta Braves? They are 20 games above 500, and they're 8.5 games out.
Oh, my goodness.
Fouled away by Robinson Cano, who has driven in 4 runs tonight. 1 with a single in the 3rd, 3 with a home run in the 4th, which was the at-bat of the night. It was a 12-pitch at-bat against Danny Duffy that included 8 foul balls, and 7 of those in a row right before the home run.
Well, that kind of gives you an idea of how good the Phillies are.
Into the right field corner, and foul, still 0-2.
Man, that was some kind of swing right there to try to get on top of that pitch. Man, just take a look at this pitch here. I mean, this is up in his eyes, and he gets right on line with it, and he's trying to guide it, trying to keep it fair. Didn't work for him on that, but he likes the ball up, especially that slow breaking ball like that.
Escobar runs up, ball has a lot of spin, and Escobar gets Cano. 1 down in the 8th. Just some quick math here, Frank. If the Phillies were in the National League West, they would have a 4-game lead. They would be tied for first if they were in the Central. They'd have a 1-game lead in the American League West. They would have a 3.5-game lead if they're in the American League Central. They would be only 1 game out in the East, but because they're trailing the Phillies, well, they won tonight, so make it 21 games above 500 and 7.5 games back.
Oh, wow.
I guess you just have to convince yourself that the wild card is a good thing. Not that they could chase the Phillies, but man.
And realignment might be a better thing.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be 21 games above 500 right now?
That's a successful season. I mean, just like the Yankees and the Red Sox every year, you know, they battle down to the wire. They're perennial mid-90 game winners every year. And one of them goes and one of them's a wild card.
Nick Swisher 1-3 with a 3rd inning walk and a 2nd inning single. Good pitch by Holland, 1-2. Yankees started the day tied with Boston, and then for a while they were a half game back, and now they're tied again as Boston split a doubleheader with the Rays. Swisher strikes out.
And just look at the movement on this fastball. I mean, it just took off on Nick Swisher. He just really froze him. Ball had late movement to it.
And a big ovation for Jorge Posada, who was a DH for a part of the game last night. Scored a couple of runs. Batting just .239. He will turn 40 tomorrow. This year, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, and Derek Jeter set an American sports record. 3 teammates playing together for 17 years. And if Andy Pettitte didn't go to the Astros for 2 or 3 years, then that would have been 4 guys playing 16 years together. Pettit going to the Astros and then coming back to the Yankees and then retired after last year. The core 4, as they're referred to, all coming up through the Yankee system. Two and two. Doesn't appear to be a good night to be facing Greg Holland.
No, his fastball's got a lot of run to it. His split finger's working well for him. And he just got that short arm. It's a quick arm. The ball gets on you quick, and you don't see the ball a long time.
Three balls and 2 strikes. And he will walk with 2 outs. John Gibbons is running the show at the moment as Ed Yost was ejected from the game in the 4th, arguing with home plate umpire Kerwin Danley, who appeared to be squeezing Danny Duffy. Strike to Russell Martin. Martin with a 2-run single in the 3rd inning. Blocked by Perez. Posada not much of a threat to move up. Jorge Posada, originally a second baseman, and then the Yankees moved him behind the plate. Mentioned it before when Bob Schaefer, who is now scouting, but he was a bench coach with the Dodgers when Joe Torre was there. When Jose Bautista was in Kansas City, he always felt the Royals should have tried him at catcher because he reminded him of Jorge Posada. Whoa, not the best swing of the night. To the bottom of the 8th.
9-7 after the game on Boulevard Royals Live. Kansas City able to score a lot of runs against Devon Nova for the second time this year, but it might not be enough. We'll talk about that and Danny Duffy's performance, who was not around very long. Same can be said for Ned Yost. We will hear from him. Highlights, reaction. We'll take your text questions at 432-432 keyword live. That and much more with Jeff Montgomery on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thanks, Joel. It's David Robertson for the bottom of the 8th inning, and that's when Robertson appeared last night, pitching a scoreless 8th, gave up a hit, and had a strikeout. Robertson's had a great year, 1.32 ERA, and in 47 2/3 innings, he has 72 strikeouts. He has not allowed a home run. You'll get Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, Johnny Giavotella in a 2-run game. Back and forth ball game it's been since the very beginning. Royals got 2 in the first, Yankees 3 in the third, leading 3-2. Royals with 3 in the bottom of the third, leading 5-3. Yankees with 5 in the fourth to lead 8-5. As Hosmer bounces it to the right side, and Cano gets it to the bag in time. Hosmer is 1 for 4. Royals with 2 in the bottom of the 6th to make it 8-7. Mark Teixeira saving a run with a diving play in that inning, and now New York with a run in the 7th to make it 9-7. A long but very entertaining game. And now Robertson will try to figure out how to get out Jeff Francoeur, who's 3 for 3. 2 RBIs and a run scored. Ball 1 outside.
I think Robertson did last night. He was able to work the outside part of the plate. He didn't throw many pitches in the middle of the plate. For the most part, kept the ball down.
Another foul ball into the Yankee radio booth. Susan Waldman on the left, John Sterling on the right, Carlos Silva, their producer engineer. They had a line drive go zipping back there last night.
She's like me. She just get out of the way. Pick it up when it quits rolling around.
Now, you can see right above the monitor, see that black dot above the monitor in front of them? That's the dent from a foul ball last night that Susan said if she didn't get out of the way, they would have hit her right in the forehead. Wow. That was a good read, though, on her part. I mean, she didn't wait till the last one. I mean, she knew right away that that ball was coming back in her direction. That's right.
She was describing as the ball is coming up, it means you better get down.
Yeah.
When it starts to come down, you might want to try to catch it. But
it's the Denny Matthews trajectory rule of trajectory. If it's still coming up, bad trajectory. If it's on its way down, well, you can try and catch that one.
Well, the biggest thing is people, when the ball's coming up, they don't change their arm angle. I mean, their hand angle. They still want to try to catch it with palms up. When they try to, you got to really get those hands up if you want to catch that ball as it's going up. So,
and Susan just dropped that ball down below her for a souvenir for that young guy who's showing mom and dad that he'll be taking a big league ball home tonight.
That's true. You want to know what happens when you have your palms up and the ball trajectory's coming up. You know what happens?
Lips.
Watch your lips.
Yep. Francoeur strikes out, 2 away in the 8th inning. Tomorrow night, Bruce Chan will start for the Royals, and Bartolo Colon. That's right. He'll be pitching for the Yankees. 7:10 first pitch. Ivy Royals Live begins at 6:30. It's also an Ink Student Night and local music showcase tomorrow. Music from The Good Foot before the Royals and the Yankees.
Yeah, Robertson sure can drive that ball down to the bottom on his own, and a nice, easy, fluid motion. Nice delivery.
ball, 1 strike. David Robertson is the younger brother of Connor Robertson, who also pitched in the big leagues. David is 4 years younger than Connor. Connor pitched with mostly the A's and the Diamondbacks. That fan explaining that he would not have made that catch if he wasn't wearing a Royals jersey. And for a little extra magic, poor Usher coming over. You okay? Almost knocked him over with a high five. Not only did I catch it.
I've got something to say.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just asking you if you're okay, though.
It's been a long night.
Mm-hmm. And for a little extra magic, it is a powder blue George Brett jersey. You okay, buddy? Yeah. Oh, ow. Giavotella hits it hard to right. Swisher runs it down, and that's the inning. We go to the 9th. Robertson pitches another scoreless 8. Tim Collins will take over for Greg Holland, and we've said this all year, but Greg Holland had another good night. Inning and a third, no hits, a couple of strikeouts. Yankees scoring 8 of their 9 runs against Danny Duffy in 3 innings. Nate Adcock restored some order with 3 scoreless innings. Aaron Crow gave up a run in 2/3 of an inning, and then Greg Holland. So Collins will get Eduardo Nunez, Brett Gardner, and Derek Jeter. Royals have allowed 9 runs on 12 hits. It was Friday night in Chicago when the Royals turned in one of their best pitching performances of the year. So they held the White Sox to 1 run on 3 hits. That was the fewest hits allowed by the Royals all season. But now in the Royals' last 4 games, they have allowed 47 hits. Eduardo Nunez has 2 singles tonight, 2 out of 4. Down and away, ball 1. 1-1 to Nunez, signed by the Yankees in 2004 out of the Dominican Republic. Nunez got a lot of playing time at shortstop when Derek Jeter was on the disabled list with his calf injury. 1-2.
Yeah, good changeup from Collins right there. Stayed up a little bit, but it's just the idea that he's able to get that arm action and a straight change. Good swing and miss.
Able to make good contact on a curveball. And Escobar over to Hosmer, 1 away. And now Brett Gardner. 2 more hits scored. He is 9 out of 18 against the Royals this year. One single that got it a 5-run inning started in the 4th. He batted twice in that inning and then tripled with 2 outs in the 7th, and Derek Jeter got him to the plate. Down and away, ball 1. One ball, 1 strike. And Collins evens the count at 2-2. Detroit has defeated Minnesota, and Chicago is leading at home in the 9th inning over Cleveland. Well, the Tigers appear to be a few outs away from having a 3-game lead in the division. Here are the updated AL Central standings. Chicago is the team that's out in front of Cleveland. So they have a chance to be 3.5 back and just a half game back of Cleveland if they can hang on. White Sox trying to go above 500 for the first time since early April. Gardner swats it to left, and Alex fades back to make the play. 2 hard hit outs for the Yankees in the 9th inning. It doesn't appear that the trade for Ubaldo Jimenez has given the Indians the lift they were hoping for, at least so far.
They're not getting Chu back, that helps a lot too. And I think it's going to boil down to head-to-head competition between all 3 of those teams. They play each other a lot going down the stretch, and the one that makes the best run at the right time I think it's going to do it. They all have that capability to do it. It's just a matter of which one does it first. Could be one of those situations where it goes down to the last day. That you got a playoff game.
Justin Verlander, by the way, was the winning pitcher for Detroit against Minnesota. His 18th win of the year.
How about that? Whoa. I mean, a season like this has just been right around the corner for him for a while. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's got the mental makeup to make it work for himself, as long as he wants to. Because he's got the fastball, the changeup, the curveball, the ability to mix his pitches.
18 wins for Verlander, 16 for CC Sabathia. The Royals won't see him in this series. The Royals were going to see Sabathia tomorrow, but the Yankees were rained out on Sunday against the Rays, so everybody was pushed back one day, and that means Sabathia will start on Thursday in Minnesota. So he'll be going for his 17th as Justin Verlander improved to 18-5. Beating Minnesota tonight 7-1. Moustakas gets Jeter, who has a 2 RBI night. Mariano Rivera coming in from the bullpen. Royals have Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, and Alcides Escobar. In the bottom of the 9th inning, and Robinson Cano is responsible for tonight's Chevrolet play of the game.
Just a 3-run home run by Cano off Danny Duffy into the left center and sort of right center field water.
It's also been a good game for him on defense. Cano has driven in 4 runs. So the Royals will get another shot at Mariano Rivera. They had to get 3 against Rivera last night, and Rivera retired Perez, Moustakas, and Escobar, and that's who he gets in the 9th. Tonight the Royals need 2. He's still Mariano Rivera with 590 career saves, but when he pitched a scoreless inning last night, that snapped a string of 3 straight appearances where he's allowed at least 1 run. 5 blown saves and 36 chances. Last night he got Salvador Perez to ground out to first base. Perez with a big 2-run double for the Royals in the 6th inning. That made it a 1-run game. And then Alcides Escobar hit a shot that looked like was headed for the right field corner until Mark Teixeira made a diving play to save the inning and save the Yankees lead, and they have since added a run. 1 ball and 1 strike.
As at this point, this is the hardest ball that Salvador Perez has hit since he's been here. He lines his ball between Granderson and Gardner, a line drive that played it 2 runs for him, and a good swing. You can kind of see the natural progression of his strength. You can see why the Royals project him to be able to hit home runs down the road.
2 balls and 1 strike. Two and 2. With 590 career saves, that's the 2nd most in history. He is 11 behind Trevor Hoffman, who had 601.
And that pitch is unhittable. I mean, just on the outside corner, right? All you can do is get up into the bat. You can't put it in play fair.
1 away.
When you talk about pinpoint control, right where the glove is. Russell Martin didn't have to move his glove at all. Let it back. You can see just exactly where Russell Martin wants this pitch. That's exactly where Mariano Rivera throws it. Now, this is where he's really dangerous on left-handers. Last night he got one up on the hands of Mike Moustakas and really left him with a nub of a bat left in his hand. So he likes to throw it right at the hands of the left-handed hitters.
Moustakas 0 for 3 with a strikeout tonight. Rivera, like most pitchers, and especially when he got into professional baseball, which was 1990, started his career as a starter. In fact, his first year in the big leagues was 95, and he made 10 starts that year. 2-2 to Moustakas. And he was a hard thrower. I mean, he's a hard thrower now, but he was a 98, 99 mile an hour guy. And he was the setup man for John Wetland in 96. Yankees won the World Series that year. Moustakas back to Rivera. He makes a glove save like a hockey goalie. And there are 2 down.
Well, a lot of this has just ended up in the middle of the mound, and the rest of it is self-defense at that point. You don't practice those comebackers to the mound with that speed. So it's all luck of where the glove goes.
After 96, when the Yankees won the World Series, John Wetland moved on to another team, and the Yankees handed the closer's role off to him in 97, and he had 43 saves his first year. And he didn't always throw that cut fastball. He was just more of a power guy, come right at you. But pitchers, when they play catch before games, are always messing around with grips and just trying new things. And Mariano Rivera stumbled upon the cutter accidentally by just playing catch one day. And did he have any idea that that day of catch would not only change his life, but change the lives of Yankee fans?
Well, his cutter is such a late break, too. And I think the one thing that he does that a lot of guys who throw cutters don't do is just stay in that same plane right at the hands of left-handers, and that pinpoint control that he has. When he's good, he can throw that on the outside corner to right-handers and backdoor to left-handers.
I heard somebody once say the definition of a dominant pitch is when the hitter knows it's coming and he still can't do anything with it. And for years, hitters have known what's coming.
Well, we know a lot of wood has been lost when Mariano Rivera is on the mound.
Advice from John Wetland before he moved on from the Yankees: don't get beat with your second best pitch. And Rivera has only needed one pitch, and he just saved his 591st career game with 2 strikeouts in the 9th inning. So the New York Yankees take over first place in the East, a half-game lead over the Boston Red Sox, as Joe Girardi's team improves to 74 and 46. 9-7 Yankees over the Royals, and we'll be right back.